storage is full. I'm using my iPad now. Now I'm being told that. Anyways, trying to understand what that was all about. The only thing I can think of is when I went on to delete more files, it showed the Texas floods. So I don't know if there's some type of connection to that with this South tropical shore. I don't know. But apparently I was being warned that we were going to have a little pause, and then it shut down. Can't make that up. And then I just looked at my screen where I'm playing some meditation music, and it said healing earth frequencies. So that is not a coincidence. All right, this has to do with the feminine and how the feminine energy is connected in with healing the earth frequencies. So the feminine energies within us. Architect. Wow. Okay. Architect. Warrior. Shadow self. And the seer in reverse. I think the reason why I'm not getting like such clear words and like images is this feels deeper. This feels almost earthly. It feels gritty and dense, but not like in a negative way, but almost like speaking with something that doesn't have language. It's like complete energy. And so maybe that is where the regal feeling, it's like Mother Gaia almost. It's different. So we're being told that we are the architect. We're the architect, and then this pause just turned upside down. Like it's time to go. It's time. It's time. It's time for us to step into our creator energy and be the warrior. Which then, so in my shadow self card just spun on its side, and so I'm taking that as the warrior, and then the seer just turned right side up. Wow. Okay. So the warrior knows the shadow. You know, the warrior has seen death, whether that's physical death or spiritual, whatever, energetic. And so within this feminine aspect of us, whether we're male or female, we're being asked to step into the shadow self as the warrior and move through it in order to become the seer. Because we're not going to be the seer if we can't move through the shadow. Oh, chills, yep. So this energy, this regal, old, ancient, I have more chills all over right now. Feminine, ancestral energy is saying, and this is like the Lilith. It's like the Eve and Lilith, like the shadow aspect of, you know, it's the warrior. It's the one that's going to go against the grain, that's going to say no with a purpose, with a reason for it. So it's saying move through the shadow. Don't get stuck in the shadow. It's meant to be moved through with a warrior mentality and the intention of the architect. It's the intention. The intention of building something and fighting for something and moving through that. And moving from the one that does not see to the one that sees. Because in order to see, you have to be completely in your self. You have to be completely knowledgeable. You have to be able to see the darkness and the light. You have to know the difference between the two. And if we're coming at this as a masculine within the feminine energy, this is the yin. This is what's inside of us. What are we shutting off? What are we pushing down because we're in that the toxic masculine that we have been taught in our culture is what's necessary, you know, the shut off the emotions, the run away from the responsibilities that are going to deliver us. And if we're a feminine that's rebuilding this energy, it's what is our intention? When we're stepping into that beautiful, passionate, sensual, strong, fully embodied feminine, why are we doing it? And as a warrior, you can't just be, being a warrior doesn't just mean physically able to fight. I would say this is maybe 20% of what a warrior is. What's your mental stamina? What's your focus? What takes up time and energy in your space? Because a warrior is focused, precise, it delivers, it is the balance within us. It has a purpose, it knows where it's going, it's the architect, archery, architect. It moves with precision and intention, and it also knows that the shadow is part of the journey. It's not something to bury. And in order for us to be the seer, we have to balance all that out within us. Okay. And it's time to go. No more pauses. I deleted a bunch of stuff off of my... Wow, everything. Everything happens for a reason. In order for me to record this video, I had to delete some storage. And then this spun to, it's go time. Deleting storage. How does that relate to us in our everyday life? Deleting, auditing, doing an audit of what is taking up space in our energetic field. What is taking up the space that's keeping us from not being able to see? Where is our energy going? We are the architect. Isn't that funny how the architect is on the Joker card? It's called a pygmy owl. Reminds me of a pick-me. A pick-me. Don't be a pick-me. Don't focus on the handbags and the trends and what everyone else has. And this goes for men and women. Don't be a pick-me. Don't be the Joker. Don't go... And this, again, is in line with this regal feminine energy that's calling out people. This energy is not joking. That's funny. Pygmy and ferruginous pygmy owl. Don't be a pygmy. Pick me. What does everybody else have? What am I being distracted by? This is a different way that I'm doing these readings. It's different energy. It's like there's no path. I don't know how to explain it. Like no organization. It's just, I'm needing to just go with it. Sacred Grove. Lush, serene east. East City Lights. Michigan. That's different. Southeast, Bayou, Southwest Mesa. A sacred grove moves to the city lights. Moves to the bayou, into the mesa. What is the message here? This is what is the message? I almost feel like I'm not connecting, but then when I don't force it, it's the total yin feeling. It's the feminine attracting in energy. It's the letting things flow as they go, which I do tend to do on these readings for the most part, but this is even more intense. Wow. Okay. Well, this on top of Michigan, so this may be a message. On top of Michigan, I got dealings or relationships with a man and yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. Then Southwest Mesa, I'm gonna look this up. This is like Indian reservation. Los, where is this? New Mexico. So this may have something to do with New Mexico. In this Southwest Mesa energy, this key was upside down. Successful outcome to your problems. So this may be a coded message. If there's something that people are involved in this Southwest Mesa space that has to do with cutting out the divinity of the feminine, which actually goes right in line with these Indian reservations, because we all know how many women get targeted in these areas. Not just women. Everybody gets targeted in these areas and have been for a very long time. And that ancient feminine warrior has been buried literally all over those grounds. And this is not the key. burying the feminine that carries the codes is not the key. Pushing that down within us is not the key. What more? This brings an unsuccessful upside down. This brings an unsuccessful outcome. This lack of control of anger is coming from a buried place of the feminine. The rage. We're not paying attention to the work that needs to be delivered on this planet. I'm going to use my Earth Magic Oracle cards. And again, this has I don't know what this masculine dealings or relationships with a masculine and yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. There's a masculine energy and it fell on Michigan. So this may be specific for somebody. In this area. Maybe this is something that someone from Michigan needs to hear or has been asking about. When we bury the feminine within us, whether we are feminine or masculine, it comes out in other ways, right? Because it's just energy. So it has to find another way to project. And this reading is saying it could have something to do with this rage. Winter solstice, reflect. Lotus flower unfolding. I'm imagining like a thawing out, you know, and when the winter thaws out, it becomes muddy and lotus flowers grow in the mud. So someone's being asked to maybe take that rage that they're feeling and thaw it out. Let the lessons unfold by thawing out the rage and what's been frozen inside. Frozen maybe to protect that vulnerable aspect of ourselves. Vulnerability. Wow. Literally just said vulnerable aspect of ourselves. Wow. And solitude, island. Oh my God, I have chills again. Okay. Wow. This all makes sense. The warrior, we're being asked to reflect on this pent-up rage And we're being taught that in order for us to move forward and in order for us to access these gifts, we need to unpause, we need to go, we need to do. And be the architect, so have intention around it. And this can be part of the unfolding of possibilities, the opening of the heart. Unfreeze the heart. It's gonna be messy because that's just how it happens. And you know, when things thaw out, it's messy underneath the mud, but from the mud grows the lotus. The unfoldment happens, the awakening happens, which then turns on our abilities to see. But we have to do the work instead of stealing it from others. And it takes vulnerability. And sometimes it may feel like it's a meadow of, sometimes it may feel hopeful, the meadow of flowers and growth. And then other times it may feel like an endless journey. But either way, this solitude that we get from accessing these vulnerable parts, from being willing to do the work, what does this solitude bring? Blessings. Blessings. It's the rainbow. It's the iris. The goddess Iris was the rainbow, the bridge between realms. Iris connected the denser, lower energies, the earth, with the higher realms. She was the rainbow. Okay, tell us more about this. Hope. This path, the reflecting, the thawing out, allowing the mess so that we can unfold into growth with vulnerability and accepting the solitude in order, sometimes even just being a lone ranger on an island all on our own, is what brings in the blessings, is what brings in the ability to see, is what brings in the bridge between this realm and the next, that calls in our manifestations. And this is what is going to bring hope. Hope to what? There's the rainbow. Hope to our foundations and achievements. Hope to these memories of love. Hope to this conflict and defeat that we're feeling. And these are scrambled. It's like 4, 6, 5. That's what I noticed. 4, 6, and 5. Not 4, 5, 6. There's something to that. I don't know what, but I noticed it, so I figured I'd say it. Maybe we're putting memories in front. It's like, okay, I think I get it. Foundations come first, right? That's what we're wanting. That's why we're needing hope. That's why we're being given the steps to take. But by putting this memories of love and then saying, oh, I'm defeated, it's not going to happen. No, that's not what it's meant for. Don't let your lack of hope keep you from accessing this love, because time doesn't exist in the spirit realm, in the cosmos. Time is a dense, constructed energy to keep things in the matrix. So if things can move backwards and forwards, and if your choices can affect the future and the past, because that's how it goes, then these memories of love are accessible again. And don't let this end with conflict and defeat. Let them be stepping stones into something new. Don't let those lies creep in and tell you that it's too late. Moving on in reverse. Don't let it keep you from moving forward. Yes. Because you never know what can happen. Every choice we make sends us in a certain direction, right? So every step that we take can change the possibilities, because we are given that hope. We are being reminded of that hope. Oh, these are all upside down. This is what is going to bring in movement. Our choices and our decisions. Oh, can't make this stuff up. Our choices and our decisions are what is going to decide whether we're going to have hope or not. We are the architect. Wow. We just have to step into our warrior mentality, which is a warrior doesn't stop based off of a conflict. A warrior breaks through the conflict. A warrior isn't afraid to fight it. A warrior isn't afraid to step back, to reassess, to reflect, in order for their magic to unfold. A warrior isn't afraid of being vulnerable. A warrior is put in vulnerable situations consistently. So they step into their vulnerability, and that doesn't just mean emotional. It also means being willing to risk your ego, being willing to be the only one, the Lone Ranger. Because by doing that, you become stealth. You become the rainbow, the bridge. You see more, not just with your physical body, but with your spiritual body. Wow. With your crown chakra, which is how we connect with the higher realms. And this is what brings accelerated motion. This is how we can realign. This is how we can access the higher knowledge and anchor it in. But as soon as that higher energy faces blockages, sees intentions that don't align, it's gonna So this is where the choices matter, because we can't fool the universe. We can't fool something that can see everything, that reads energetic codes. The universe doesn't just look at life like we do. It doesn't just see things the way we do. It's not optics. It's vibration. So it's gonna say, is this energy that's wanting to access these higher knowledge, these higher abilities and grow and connect with us, is this energy able to handle it? And it's gonna see right away whether we're fooling ourselves or whether we're trying to fool it. So if we're wanting these things, we have to be completely in our alignment. And this is why authenticity is so much more powerful than even love. The vibration of authenticity is the most powerful thing, and it's because you become a clear source. You become a clear anchor into what is possible. Love is important and it's extremely powerful, but if you have love, but then you have other things in your energetic body that are blocking that off, you're not going to be a clear source of energy, right? Authenticity is alignment. Authenticity is where everything aligns, where what you see is what you get, where you intentionally live in this architectural energy of I create my reality. So what am I, as within, so without. As within, as above, so below. As within, so without. I think, I'm not saying it right. Woo! Sacrifice. And look at the rainbow again. And connecting. Okay. Sometimes in order to connect, we have to sacrifice certain things in our lives. that maybe we find comfort in, maybe they've always been there. And we all individually know what that is for ourselves. And we don't need to let anybody tell us what that is. We know that. And so it's being honest with ourselves. It's being in that authentic energy. Sacral chakra. This has something to do with the sexual creative energy. So if this is saying sacrifice, it's asking us to reassess where we're putting this energy. Where are we putting our sexual creative life force energy? Because that is, we can use that to create, literally, or we can use it to have a real good, you know what I mean, which, not so bad. But we're the alchemist. We need to say how much of our, it's just like anyone that's budgeting, how much of our money is going towards this? And is it an investment, or are we just throwing it away to have fun? It's the same thing. If we're just out there throwing our sacral, that's the second chakra, right? We have our root chakra, and then we have the sacral chakra, which is our fertility. It's, you know, everything that has to do with sex and creative energy and healing energy. So we're being asked to reassess and maybe have to sacrifice leaking that energy out everywhere, because what's happening is it's not an investment anymore. That energy is now being used and fed off. And if you're, you know, having sex with lots of different people, what we don't understand is that our energy doesn't, we cord up with, we connect with people. Every person that we have sex with, we have an energetic exchange. So we intentionally need to realize whoever we're having sex with them and everybody else that they've had sex with. So those energetic cords, they now are part of you, and we have to learn how to move that. We have to learn how to cleanse ourselves and prepare that space again for what it's meant for, because then that gets in the way of our manifestations. That gets in the way of our ability to create that energy, which then moves up into our value. It directly affects how we look at ourselves, how we hold ourselves. And then that directly affects whether we can manifest in what we want, because if we can't move up through that, if we're holding on to these energies and they're bringing, which they will, they'll affect our mental state, they'll affect how we look at ourselves, they'll affect where we hold ourselves. And if we're like keeping ourselves blocked, our hearts blocked, because we're in this sacral, overly sexual energy, then the manifestation is not going to happen. And this is, wow, spiritual strength and firm foundation. This directly affects what we can build. Because what we build isn't just physical, it starts spiritual. So those entities and energies that are connected to that person that you decided to exchange energy with and get corded up with are now blocking your spiritual strength. You can have energies assist, right? I'm looking at this as like a helper, a guide. See how he's holding up this area so that this person can walk through? We can either have this, or we can have this pulling us down, anchoring us into a lower vibration. Either way, it's going to affect that firm foundation. And create a disruption. This was up. I didn't even know that was there. Disruption. That's what that creates. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be shared? Belong. That's what I kept getting heard. Belong. You belong. Seek healing because you belong. Belong. You belong. Whoa. Oh my God, this stuff happens. This came out on top. I have like 2 minutes left. This came out on top and it's enchanted, right? But then the next one is higher power in reverse. Don't be enchanted by these lower energies. They will affect your path. But then at the same time, I get this idea of don't be enchanted by these powers to where you feel like you don't belong, because you belong. You're a seed. You're a possibility. You can stand with the giants. Warrior, I walk with the gods. I am a. We walk with them. We are the only ones that hold ourselves back. And it's when we let enchantment, there's a lot of ways that we can look at that. This is what is going to bring us a lack of abundance. This is what's going to block us. We have to know that we belong. It's going to block our abundance. It's going to block our strength. It's going to block the ability to avoid drama. So it's going to allow drama into our space. If we don't want this, if we want to avoid drama, if we want strength, if we want abundance, we have to know that it's our right to connect with the higher power. It is our role. It's not just a possibility, it is. Don't be enchanted by things that we don't understand. Step into it by seeking healing. Step into your power by doing the work. Step into your power by reflecting, letting the unfoldment happen, being vulnerable, allowing the ice to melt around our heart, allowing the pain to be felt so that the lotus can grow, allowing ourselves to be in solitude and allowing ourselves to be a lone wolf, because that's what's going to bring in the blessings, where we can access the higher realms, anchor it into the lower realms, be the rainbow. Chills. Okay, so my iPad's about to die, so I think that's it, but hopefully somebody gets something out of it.